From the CBW Radio UK studios in Chelmsford, this is Off the Record with Big C and his trusty companions, Jazzy Jeff and Stinky Pete.
Yeah, this is Big C. Thanks, Shaggy. Off the record, we're back on whatever it is, 175 episodes we've done now. And I have Jazzy Jeff and I have Stinky Pete with me, as Shaggy just announced. Hello, guys. Brothers in arms.
Hello, Colin.
Thank you very much. A nice welcome. A nice welcome from you. You've been away, actually. No, you haven't been away. But you've had a visitor on, haven't you? Someone from Japan.
Yes.
You were saying,
my buddy Ben. Well, he's not from Japan. He lives in Japan. He's from Shrewsbury, but
oh right, okay.
Yeah, but
you showed him the sights of Dunstable, no doubt.
No. We ran riot in Buckhurst-Hill, then we ran riot in London, and then we ran riot in Dunstable. So we've done
excellent.
Done the whole lot, really.
I'm sure the Tesco Extra in Dunstable is probably a highlight of the of the village.
No, the highlight
was never seen such fun, I'm sure.
The highlight was walking along Dunstable Downs in a howling gale yesterday morning before I took him back to Milton Keynes.
It's nice walking on. We've walked on Dunstable Down many years ago, and when Sarah used to live in Luton. Before we were married, actually, we used to go over to Luton, and
you should never own up to that. Really, like no one should actually own up to living in Luton. Not really.
Well, she doesn't anymore. So,
well, that's okay. She escapes.
She escaped. Yeah, it's all due respect to Luton, to Lutonians, it's not the most pleasant of places, I must admit, but it could be worse.
It could be worse.
It could be Middlesbrough or Hartlepool. Or
no comments. No comment on that.
Pick a lot of places.
Or Watford.
Do you want to upset anybody else? I mean, Liverpool. No, you quite like Liverpool, don't you?
Cincinnati.
All right. Okay. Oh, we're going worldwide now.
We're going worldwide now. If we're going worldwide, I'm chucking St. Louis in with that as well.
Well,
actually, I'm not a fan of Vegas for obvious reasons.
No, and
Trump being one of them.
I mean, Mogadishu is right rough.
All right. Okay,
so
well, let's.
Now you're just showing off.
No, well, I've never been.
He's been everywhere.
I've just seen pictures. Anyway,
he's been everywhere. Apart from seeing Pink Floyd and Genesis and David Bowie in concert, he's been absolutely everywhere.
Go, mate.
I'm just reading. Sad news about Dave Edmunds in the week. I mean, he's hanging on in there, but a horrific heart attack he had, didn't he? A cardiac arrest. But I just noticed this morning that his wife has announced that some more promising news, and they feel he's going to make a full recovery. So
that is good news.
That is good news.
77, wasn't it?
77? Yeah. I'm sure he's that old, actually. But
it's not old anymore, is it?
No, it's not old. No, I was playing something by Louis Armstrong the other day, as you do on the radio, and saw that he died. And when he died, he was younger than we are now. I mean, well, probably younger than you, Jeff.
I thought he was 61 or something, wasn't he?
Yeah, what are you? You're older than that. Yeah. So it's younger than all of us when he died. Yeah. And I thought, he was pretty old. Don't start me on Bill Haley. I thought he was really old when he started in the 50s. And then he died. He was only about 55. I don't know.
But doesn't he come round every 173 years?
What, around the clock, you mean?
Yeah. Oh, no, Haley's Comet.
Very good.
A mile off. Good grief.
Every 77 years, isn't it? Yeah. Well done.
I don't know what it is.
I think it is 77, yeah. And we mentioned before we came on air about Heung-min Son. Sadly, he's departed Spurs, the club, today after 10 years of, superb service, I would say.
Stellar service, that more.
Stellar service. And a thoroughly nice chap as well, by all accounts.
Yes, and a disarmingly nice fellow.
Yes, disarmingly nice.
He said, I came here as a boy and I've left here as a man.
Indeed.
Yes, indeed. Which is
Indeed, and
more
now
than
he's
he said for some of the clowns that played for the club.
that's true. Only been there for 5 minutes.
He
Of course,
he was the UEL winner in 24-25, the Golden Boot winner in 21-22, the Pushkas Award winner in 2020. He made 454 appearances and scored 173 goals. That's a pretty good rate of return for a winger.
not
And
bad
he
at
won a
all.
European Championship.
Yes, the UEL.
He probably got some Asian Games medal as well, didn't he?
I think he did.
Yeah. We did, because that's how he avoided national service, wasn't it? Because if you win
Yeah.
a gold medal or you win a tournament, you didn't have to do national service,
Ah,
or at least
shrewd,
not for
shrewd.
2 years.
So what are we talking about today? Well, we're talking about in a long-running, spasmodic, I would say, series of shows that we're doing of
Are you allowed to
alphabetical.
call it that nowadays?
No,
I don't know.
you
Is that
can't-
politically
you can't-
correct?
No, you can't call it spasmodic. You have to call it something else modic.
Okay.
Occasional modic.
Occasionally.
Yes, occasional modic series that we've got of albums and alphabetical albums. So we've done A through I so far individually over a period of weeks and months, probably. Struggling a bit with J and struggling a bit with K. So what we've done is combine the two together. So we got albums beginning with the letter J and albums beginning with the letter K. And
So
that's it.
JK.
That's what we took.
Yeah,
JK,
we're not talking about
that's-
JK.
Don't talk about
At all.
Jamiroquai. No, that's. I can't stand that band. I don't know what it is about. It's that voice.
It's his
Having
hat.
said that, I've got a couple of voices here that aren't great, but I still love them. So we've got J and K, and we're going to do our best, and whatever will be, basically, when we've done it.
Okay,
In fact,
Sarah.
well, could say K Sarah Sarah or J Sarah
There you
Sarah.
go.
even
Yeah, could have done
which is
that.
better. Indeed,
Very
right.
good. JK
So-
Sarah.
No, we're not mentioning JK.
I just thought I'd get it in there quickly.
Thanks very much. I'm trying to think. Are we going to mention? No, I'm not going to mention them because then you can say that I mentioned them, and you're not going to mention your band either. So let's get on with it. J and K albums. Did we find this a struggle, either of you?
Yes.
Yeah, well, my particular struggle was that, as you know, right through this entire series thus far, I've chosen albums I have, but across both letters, I've only got 4 albums out of all of them, so I've had to go with ones I vaguely know but don't own, which has annoyed me intensely.
I was
it's gotta
quite
be done.
impressed with the fact that I actually owned more than I expected to own with the J and a K.
Okay.
But I didn't own enough to go through the whole lot. But yeah, I've actually managed to do it, so I've got 5 of each.
Okay,
I've
I don't
got-
know.
That is pure chance, not deliberate.
I've got 5 of each and some, and I've got 5 of J and 6 of K, and a couple of shout outs that I don't know anything about. So
All right, I wonder what you're going to say there. I've got some J's and a K and a bit of shout outs. That's what you're going to say.
but I do think that there is a very strong chance that a lot of these we are going to have the same albums. So I think, I mean, I could be wrong, but I think we might end up having a bit of a confab about one of them because we've chosen the same
All
ones.
done it. Yeah. Well, I wondered that. There are, I think, a couple of fairly obvious ones. One of which I didn't actually include because of that, but maybe I should. But I'm sure we'll make it. If we finish a bit early, it doesn't really matter. We're all getting to bed earlier, can't we? We're all getting old. We're all getting old. We
And
are.
I've been on the tools.
And you've been on the tools. Yeah, he's been hands on today.
Have you?
Labouring, yeah, with a
Is
shed.
is the client not worried about the quality of workmanship?
The client was Andy Buchan, so no.
Oh, well, in that case, no.
Right, okay, who's going to start? I'll tell you who's going to start. Jeff's going to start.
Okay,
There you go.
I can start.
Straight in.
Do we have to start with J or K, or does it not matter?
Yeah, no,
Doesn't matter.
it's an alphabetical thing. Of course, you have to start with J. Don't be an idiot.
All right, okay, we'll start with Jay.
Okay. I'll start with J then. Well,
Yes.
thanks for telling me that.
Yeah, pull yourself together.
Okay, I'm going to start with. Okay, Pete, you might have this one. It's an obvious one for me to start with. 1974, Journeys to the Centre of the Earth by Rick Wakeman.
I've got that as my Jeff is going to choose this one, so I won't.
Okay. Live from the Royal Festival Hall, #1 record. Interestingly, didn't know this. The first #1 for A&M.
Really?
Was it really?
Yeah.
Okay.
David Hemmings on narration because Richard Burton wasn't available. There's nothing like being second, is there? Ashley Hart and Gary Pickford Hopkins on vocals, one of whom's got a great voice and one of whom hasn't. But I don't know which is which, to be perfectly blunt, and I don't care. I think it's Wakeman's best album of the three. Six
The other
Wives
two
really good.
being, sorry, Secret Lives of Henry.
No, there's Myths and Legends of King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table,
That's the one.
which I was going to choose, but it's called Myths and Legends, not King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table.
That's fair
Yeah,
enough.
I wondered if you'd spot that one after we'd had the conversation on Saturday.
Yeah. Six Wives of Henry VIII, which is
That's
the
the
most
one.
popular one,
Yeah,
and this one. I think I like this one because it's got singing tunes in it, melodies in it. Six Wives is very good, and Myths and Legends is very good, but it's not quite as good as this. So yeah, that's my first choice. It's Wakeman at his excessive best.
Yeah.
Live, and I don't normally do live, but I think it probably had to be live.
Well, it did, and I think the interesting thing about it is it took me several years, having bought it pretty well when it came out. It took me several years to realise that it was in fact a live album. My brain didn't do the maths, and it's just
the clapping at the end that gives it away.
Well, it is, but you kind of you've got engrossed in the story because the story's clever. And I just didn't see it as a live album, but it is. It's
it was actually only part of the gig, which I thought was quite interesting because he did a whole load of other stuff as well within the gig, and then sort of slipped this in as part of it.
Yeah, he did. The other interesting thing about it for me is that it was released on my 17th birthday in 1974.
Was it really?
It was. It was released on the 3rd of May, 1974.
Did you get it as a birthday present?
I could go and look at the album and see what I wrote on the sleeve at the time, but I suspect not. But I probably bought it with
I think I bought it for you.
You may well have done.
But I think I bought it for you for Christmas.
Right. Well, that kind of makes sense. But it's a good album, and I agree with you. I think it's his best.
Did you record it first, Jeff, before you gave it to...
Interestingly. I didn't usually say that.
Actually, we've all been there a few times.
I didn't on this one. I didn't on this one.
Journey to the Centre there. So I must admit, I'm surprised you didn't have that one, Pete. But
I knew Jeff
said for obvious reasons. Yeah,
I knew Jeff would choose it, so that's why I didn't. But I noted it down, and I did me research.
See, I would have had you more down as a Rick Wakeman man than Jeff. So I would have thought maybe you would have had it. Maybe I was wrong in assuming that.
No, it's just no. Okay, I bumped into Jeff accidentally on Saturday in Buckhurst when I was there with Ben on my way to meet my other mates. And I said, how are you getting on with prep for the podcast? And we had the kind of, there ain't a lot to choose from. And he said, I have got some. And then he mentioned Journeys to the Centre of the Earth. And that was on my list. And I thought, right, he's going to mention that. So I'll just
read
about
it.
All
right. Okay, fair enough. And an interesting thing is because you, Pete, I presume you too, Jeff, or maybe if you're around in the next couple of days for the radio show, might give us some songs from some of these albums. And I'm getting the feeling that Journey to the Centre of the Earth is probably two tracks, isn't it?
No, it's
one track, basically. It's just too long to play.
I think it's 4 or 5 tracks, but they all run into each other. So no, it doesn't work.
All right, okay. All right, so Rick Wakeman for Jeff. Pete, what do you got?
Okay, my first one is my favourite album of the early career of the gentleman in question, released in 1968, John Wesley Harding by Bob Dylan.
Oh, that was the very first one I've got written down on my list.
Well, there we go. So we've both done the same one.
Yep, that's fine.
Why do I like it? Well, I like it mostly because I really love his version of All Along the Watchtower. Obviously, it's my favourite Hendrix track. And I think it's one of those ones where what I like is the fact that it's the same song but done so very, very differently. And I just really love the Dylan original. In fact, it's why I said to Gordon to get me the album, because all of the other songs I didn't really know. But when he got it for me, I played it a few times and I thought, actually, there's some really good tracks on here. So I'm obviously all along the Watchtower. I particularly like the Ballad of Frankie Lee and Judas Priest. I really like I'm a Lonesome Hobo. And I really like I'll Be Your Baby Tonight. I mean, the whole album is very listenable too, but they're my four favourite tracks. Although obviously mentioning Judas Priest, the band that I absolutely can't stand.
That's exactly what I was going to say when you said that. I said it's a shame that they named a band named their band after this particular song.
Yes,
But you know, you can't have everything, I guess. But yeah, those Rolling Stone has it in the 500 greatest albums of all time. You'll be pleased to know, which is at 337 in the latest edition, at least. Yeah, I like it because now, when did the Hendrix version come out? But did it come out after? I presume it did. I mean, it's not one of these sort of Joni Mitchell type
Hendrix.
things.
It must have been 68 or 69, mustn't it?
60. It must have been 68 then. Maybe I would have thought.
Well, because the Dylan album came out in 68, but I think it was early 68, and I think Hendrix played it later on.
Yeah, well, I got down release date as the 27th of December 67, so basically, yeah, very, very early, 68. Probably by the time he got in the chart, it was 68. But I like it because it's return to I mean, he had a real rocky stage, didn't he? Controversially, as we all know, with these Blonde on Blonde and the like. But he went back to sort of semi-acoustic instrumentation. And it's a lot folkier.
Yeah.
And his songwriting was very folky, I thought, as well, if it's possible. But yeah, All Along the Watchtower. John Wesley Harding was the Texas outlaw, but it was actually the guy whose name was John Wesley Hardin without a G on it. So there's also a bit of an error there along the way. A grammatical error that I shouldn't really like the album. But, you know, forgive and forget.
Just forgive me for a second here. Is a grammatical error and a spelling error one and the same?
No.
Because it's just a spelling error, so that's not a grammatical error. So
okay, Mr. Pedantic, you got me there. It's probably a spelling error rather than a grammatical error.
Absolutely. In which case, you're allowed
don't start me on the grammar. We know what. Even when you're talking, you can.
Well, it would have been a grammar error if it had been Hardin with an apostrophe.
Yes, it would.
It would have been true, but why would they possibly want to do that?
Did you know that the British Apostrophe Society is shut down?
Is this a joke?
No, it's true. There was a British Apostrophe Society, and there now no longer is.
Is that because apostrophes are no longer relevant?
Because no one cares about them, apparently, yeah.
Well, they should.
People don't use them properly.
Well, and people don't spell properly. Anyway, for anybody listening, this is a music podcast, not an English grammar Nazi podcast. No. But just in case you've just tuned in. Anyway, moving on.
It's amazing that different intonation, punctuation-wise, you could say something like, you know, if you're on a diet, and the doctor says to you, "Don't eat anything fatty." That could mean don't eat anything fatty, or don't eat anything fatty. I mean, there's a big difference. So you should have a comma even when you're talking, I think.
When you say there's a big difference, you are, of course, right.
I am indeed. I am right, as are you, Willis. In fact, both of you are Willis.
Oh, this is getting right. Okay, move on.
We're definitely moving on. Yeah, well, I've got John Wesley Harding, so I don't need to say too much about it. It was #1 in the UK album. Only 2 in the US, but I think a lot of his albums didn't make. He did better over here, strangely. We've had that discussion many times before.
Yeah,
but there are other tracks on it. I dreamed of, I saw St. Augustine.
Yeah, that's a nice
one. The Wicked Messenger, I think Faces covered that. You mentioned I'll Be Your Baby Tonight, which is covered by Robert Palmer. And there's this real bluesy feel to the song. I think it closes what John Wesley
Yeah, it
Harding.
does. It closes the
Yeah,
album.
that's the one.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's not a lot else to say about John Wesley Harding. So you've said it, and I agree. I like John Wesley Harding as well. Shall I throw my one in then? A
Yeah.
different one. Yeah, I know this is an album that you don't like anyway, Pete, because you've I think listened to
Okay.
it at my request a few months back, and it is a certain Mr. John Lennon and his debut solo album, which was John Lennon Plastic Ono Band.
Now, it's interesting because I own this.
Yeah.
And I didn't put it down. I didn't choose it because I wasn't certain what it was actually called.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I always wondered, is it called Plastic Ono Band? It's called John Lennon Well, the thing is, there were two albums released simultaneously, I believe, on the same day. Well, that would be simultaneously, wouldn't it?
Simultaneously, yeah.
It would be, really. Let's not get onto that again. There was a John Lennon Plastic Ono Band, and also, believe it or not, a Yoko Ono Plastic Ono Band as well. That album I do not own, and I will not own.
Okay.
Because she can't sing.
She can't. She's not really very good looking either, was she?
Well, she can't do anything.
I don't know what you saw in her.
It's in the eyes of the beholder. That's all I would say.
It is. You're absolutely right, and it was very wrong of me to say so.
He wore glasses.
Or didn't.
Okay.
On that occasion, he put them on and went, "Whoa! Look at that.
Oh, whoa! What did I do?"
Oh, you're so cruel. You're so cruel.
One of those biters.
He only got to know her because of some art exhibition, wasn't it? I think when she was in London, and there was some strange bit of art where she had a step ladder leading up to the ceiling, and he walked up the step ladder and he looked on the ceiling, and there's a word, yes, I think it was, and that was enough to convince him. But that's beside the point. Wow. John Lennon Plastic Ono Band, after the Beatles, believe it or not, this is number 23 in the greatest 500 albums of all time, according to Rolling Stone.
Living proof that Rolling Stone don't know what the hell they're talking.
Well, I like it.
Although I do quote them several times. So.
It's not a bad album at all.
It's not a bad album, I don't think. I mean, after the Beatles broke up, he had this, they both did actually, his primal therapy. So having done all of that, he was able to channel all of his emotions into an album's worth of this sort of revelatory material, very raw, very personal songs. Mother opened it, which was a single in the States. It's sort of a minor hit, at least. Mama Don't Go, Daddy Come Home is his refrain all the way to the end of the song. Both parents, of course, abandoned him in his childhood. I'm not going to go about all the tracks, but the ones, Working Class Heroes on there, which is, I think, sort of recognizable as Lennon. First I knew Working Class Hero, which is stridently political, of course, and is a commentary on the difference between social classes, blah, blah, blah. And people ridicule saying, well, how can you call yourself a working class hero when you're not working class? Just Lennon on an acoustic guitar. The first time I heard the song, it was on a B-side of Imagine in 75, when that was first released as a single over here. Isolation, his feelings about vulnerability despite his massive fame and fortune, and a beautiful ballad called Love, which is, I don't know, his best, one of the best examples of his sort of, I had a quote written down here. I'm trying to find it. Oh, yeah. It's one of the best examples of his melodic sensibilities, moving through different keys effortlessly while still keeping the key melody gliding throughout. Real love. He does talk about real love quite a bit, just Lennon. And the final track, God, which is him saying he don't believe in Elvis, he don't believe in Dylan or Zimmerman, as he calls him. He don't believe in the Beatles, famously at the end. And the opening line, God is a concept by which we measure our pain.
Pretentious.
We might have to agree to differ on that one, him and me.
Possibly so. But that's my album. John Lennon came, was it November 70, I think it came out. No, December 70. Okay, Jeff, back to you.
Okay, I'm going to read you a little thing, and you can try and guess what the album is.
Go on
So
then.
NME wrote this. The poetry of this album is not the flat print of the lyric sheet, but lies rather in the animate pulse of pure music, where voice, words, tune, and instruments are utterly inseparable.
Blimey.
Blimey.
That's
It's
not
the
very easy.
third studio album of this person. Okay, that helps.
Is it a solo artist?
Of this
I was gonna
person,
say.
like grammatically, that would be correct.
Is it a solo male artist?
No.
So it's a solo female artist.
Self-titled album.
Well, Joni Mitchell didn't have one, did she? Self-titled. I mentioned one.
Oh, I know who did. Janice Ian.
Joan
She
Baez?
didn't, because the only Janis Ian one she had was the greatest hits one. No, it's not Janis Ian.
It's not Joan Baez.
No,
I mentioned to you Judy Sill the other day, which I thought you
yeah,
might.
It's not that.
You
I've
might like
never heard
that.
about it. I haven't had time to ever listen to it.
No,
So
but that's I haven't listened to it today actually. Yeah, I haven't included it though. Sort of a nicer voice than Joni Mitchell's, I think. Oh, what year? 74?
76.
Joan Armour Trading.
Yeah, Joan Armour Trading.
Ah,
Joan without armour plating. So Love and Affection is the obvious and standout. Down to Zero is on it as well, which is a great song. Like Fire is a good song as well. Pete, you might remember this guy. So Like Fire, there was a slide guitarist on it called Bryn Howarth.
I remember Bryn Howarth. Yeah, absolutely.
And he was supposed to be the next best thing, but he just turned out to be the next, really, which was a bit of a shame, really. He was a nice guy and a good guy, but never got much further than being a session guitarist.
I didn't realise he'd played with Joan Armour Trading. Yeah, I mean, he was a good guitarist, Bryn
He is
Howarth.
a good guitarist.
He was. Yeah, very much so.
Dave Mattox, the guy from Fairport on drums.
Yeah.
And one of your faves, Colin, Graham Lyle on 12-string guitar.
oh, I love a bit of Graham Lyle.
You do like a bit of Graham Lyle.
I do.
But it's a nice album. It's very Joan Armour Trading. It's what she does.
She's
it's
just
a bit weird to have a third studio album as your self-title.
Really? Exactly. I was going to say. I always assumed Joan Armour Trading was her debut album.
Yeah, apparently not.
No, I believe. In fact, I know.
I should have looked up what the first two were called, but I didn't.
Slacker.
Okay.
I am a slacker. It's what comes of having to go to work. It's all right for you lot that don't have to.
Well, as the host of the show,
I've worked like a dog today. I was in a meeting at 8 o'clock this morning, so you can stuff off. With love.
We're looking after the dog at the
children.
We're looking after the dog at the
whatever's for us.
She does not work at all. She just lays down all day. Sorry, Colin.
Sorry, I'm going to say, as host of the show, I can tell you what the first two albums were called.
Thanks,
Whatever's for Us in 72, and then Back to the Night in 75.
Well, there we are.
None of which, or neither of which, grammatically being correct.
Grammatically correct.
Should I remember at all, to be honest.
No.
If I got Joan Armour Trading featuring, strangely, on cameo vocal on a track on an album that I might include before the end of the K's.
We should look forward to it. I think she's a brilliant artist. I think she's massively underrated.
Agreed.
In the world. I think she's recognised within her sphere as one of the tops. But I think generally she's not given the credit that she's due. Personally.
And as a Brummie, is she more intelligent than Jack Grealish?
Well, it's not difficult, is it? Well, they are blades of grass at Aston Villa's pitch that are more intelligent than
I've got a couple of concrete breeze blocks in my back garden which are significantly more intelligent.
Right, okay, Joan Armour Trading for you, Jeff. Pete, what you got?
Okay, I'm gonna read you a little story. Between 1900 and 1910, Cecil Sharp collected a number of songs, amongst which was the name of this album. There are many versions of the song from Oxfordshire, Sussex, Hampshire, Surrey, and Somerset. between 100 and 140 versions, in fact. The earliest known is in the Pepysian collection of 1465, printed by H. Gorson between 1607 and 1641. The popular interpretation is the effort of the people to give up alcohol distilled from barley. The last verse of the song is, "And little Sir John, with his nut brown bowl and his brandy in the glass, and little Sir John, with his nut brown bowl, proved the strongest man at last."
This sounds very proggy. I said it sounds very Jethro Tully, but I don't know there's a J album for Jethro Tull. And they didn't have a self-titled one, I'm sure.
The little Sir John in question is John Barleycorn.
Barleycorn, yeah.
Ah, yes, of course.
So the album is John Barleycorn Must Die by Traffic, released in 1970. That group of smart asses, Steve Winwood, Chris Wood, and Jim Capaldi.
And Rick Gretsch.
And Rick Gretsch, yeah. Well, sometimes, not on all the tracks. I got into Traffic because one of my mates at university taped me a copy of Traffic on the Road, which is one of my favourite live albums. And two of the tracks on Traffic on the Road are on John Barleycorn Must Die. That's Glad and Freedom Rider, which are both... they're very Traffic. They are kind of a mixture of vaguely proggy rock and pretty jazzy sounding as well. As what I like about Traffic is I think they kind of cover quite a broad range of genres. So on the first side you've got Glad and Freedom Rider and then Empty Pages, and on the second side you've got Stranger to Himself, John Barleycorn, which, you know, as I said, is a traditional song arranged by Stevie Winwood, and then Every Mother's Son, which I thought had also been done by Clapton, but I may be wrong about that. But I've heard other versions of it that aren't Traffic. I'm almost sure. I only got the album very, very recently. It's one of the most recent ones that Gordon got hold of for me. But I've always liked it, and I've kind of been looking out, and I've got a really nice first pressing. So, but it's a really good album. If you like Traffic, you know, Traffic, the sound of. I should say the sound of Traffic. Traffic. Yeah, it's not like that at all. But I just really like. I just really like the sound of the band, and it was a pretty good debut. So that was an easy choice. And that's the other one I own.
Okay.
I'm not a lover of live albums, as you both know.
Mm.
Traffic Live is a great album.
Yeah, Traffic on the Road.
Traffic on the Road, yeah.
Yeah, it is. And it's got a really good cover as well. It's just a really simple, clever cover, kind of basically Motorway Bridges. But it's just very well done.
I'd like to bring you back to something you said there, actually, about all of the history behind it. And was it the Pepysian you said?
Yes, the Pepysian collection of 1465.
This is Samuel Pepys, presumably.
No, Pepoysia.
Oh, right. Okay. You know, this shows the quality we have on the show. I was going to pick you up on Samuel Pepys. Surely he was around in 1600s, not in the...
Yes, no, I'm fully aware that you were about to stick a knife between my shoulder blades in the Pepys department.
The Great Fire of London.
Yes, indeed. I thought I'd swerve that by being very, very clear that it's Pepysian collection.
All right, well, I'm going to change tack completely, and I'm going to throw an album which might surprise you, from 1991.
Good Lord, that's modern.
March 1991. Yeah, some things did come out in the 90s that I like listening to, Pete. It's the ones that you like listening to that are the issue, I suspect. This was this band from Sweden, their third album, and it's not them. And it was a number 2 here in the UK. It was a number 12 in the US, and it's not a hard, they're Norwegian. It was, in my opinion, my humble opinion, the work of two pop artists at the top of their game. recorded at rather lovingly named, I think, in Sweden, the studios called Tits and Ass Studios in Sweden. The album was called Joyride, and the artist is Roxette. Ah. Yes, Roxette does begin with
Did
R.
they have a really famous song?
They had quite a few actually, but their biggest one probably was "It Must Have Been Love," which was from the Pretty Woman
Yeah, that
film.
was in the film. Yeah.
But but they did. They had an album before that, which was like their breakthrough album, "Look Sharp," not the Joe Jackson album, "Look Sharp," but another "Look Sharp," which had a few hits on it. But then they had to come back with what Per Gessler, the singer's Marie Fredrikson's no longer with us, sadly. She died a few years ago now. He wanted to make almost like a greatest hits. He needed to be better than "Look Sharp," and Joyride, the single, was a #1 in the States, #4 here. But there's some other great rocking pop songs, if you like. ABBA with a bit of oomph to it.
Ooh.
Fading Like a Flower is another one. The Big L, Spending My Time, Church of Your Heart. I've got all the positions they got in the chart, but and they got some rockier ones on there called Hot Blooded. That sounds like it's a rockier song, doesn't it? Did Foreigner have a song called Hot Blooded? They did,
Yes, they
didn't they?
did. I was just going to
Yeah,
say
it's
that.
probably not the same one.
No, brilliant.
But there's like acoustic numbers on there. There's a lot of there's one with a 60s soul Motowny feel called Soul Deep, actually. And yeah, that's all I can say really. I would put that as one. I put that as one of. I mean, we are struggling, but that's a good album. Probably, I would say 3 or 4, maybe throwaway tracks towards the end of the album, but that's what happened, I think, once you got in the 90s and the noughties. All the best ones, all the best songs are at the start. But anyway, I thought I'm going to include Joyride because I like it.
Good shout.
Good reason
Yes.
to include it.
Yes. All right. Jeff, what you got?
Okay, let's see what we can do here. 1974, her, go with that again, 13th studio album.
I mean,
13th in 74.
And she's still making albums now.
Is it Joan Baez this time?
It's not Joan Baez this time, as it wasn't last time.
As it wasn't
But
last
it's
time.
no
either.
one beginning with Joan.
I was going to say without beginning with J. Well, that defeats the.
The album begins
Not
with
self-titled.
J.
Ah,
The
right.
album
Okay.
begins with J. The artiste does not.
Joni Mitchell didn't have that many up to that point, did she?
No.
no.
But that would be Joan as well, wouldn't it? And it's not.
If it was self-titled, it would be. But there might be one called
yeah.
Juju Man or something.
Jolly
like
good,
that.
jolly good. It's Joni Mitchell.
Yes. Blimey, female vocalist, 13th album in
Songwriter,
1970.
guitarist, vocalist. Played Glastonbury a few years ago.
It's not someone like Bonnie Raitt, is it?
No. You're going to need to go countryer than Bonnie Raitt.
Oh, Jolene.
Very good. The album Jolene. Dolly Parton.
One of her greatest hits.
One of her greatest hits, but not over here.
No.
She kept her greatest hits over here for later.
Yeah.
She could have recorded her albums at the same studio as Roxette, of course.
She could have done.
Very easily.
Yeah, Jolene. Plus, of course, the decent version of "I Will Always Love You," which was Whitney's warbling hit. And there's a lovely little bluesy number on it as well, sort of picks guitar, bluesy feel sort of thing called "Lonely Coming Down," which is all about coming down from a relationship, obviously. But more important than any of that, like the band is just the whole lot of the Nashville Boys, like all of them, you know, and they're just top-notch Nashville session players right across the board. It's not an album I know well, but you know, but it's there, and it's a J, and Dolly always deserves a mention.
Fair point. Fair point.
Well, actually, two of them.
I just said the same. I literally just said the same. Oh, dear, oh dear.
And I will choose one of them for tomorrow.
We've gone all Benny Hill today.
We went all Benny Hill last week and the week before. I'm starting to worry about where we may all end up. Anyway, there we go.
Right, go on then, Pete.
Not on the BBC is the answer.
Yes, true. How do you follow Dolly Parton?
Well,
Don't
okay, I'm going to go with I think the most obvious of the J albums.
Okay, this is going to be mine as well.
This is an album that topped the charts in 20 countries. It sold 25 million copies. It spawned 3 massive hit singles and another one in the US only and another one in Australia and New Zealand only.
And if it's the one that I'm thinking of, it's in the Vatican top 10.
It is. It was produced by Daniel Lanois and Brian Eno, and it is the Joshua
Tree
by U2 from 1987.
Well, I've got that one in mine as well. So,
well, I mean, you can't.
Which does, of course, actually start with T.
Yeah, well, it doesn't, because we made the decision early doors that that A and T didn't count.
That's a good thing to have made, in my opinion.
It was, because otherwise every album in the world would start with T, wouldn't it? Or a significant number of them.
We'd never get that. That would be a long show, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and it would literally, we'd still be going on having stuff.
Beginning with the.
Yes.
So anyway, I mean, I know it's in the Vatican's top 10. I'm not entirely sure that's something I'd be proud about, but nonetheless, for me, and this is perfect. I mean, I love U2 up to kind of Beyond the Fly, and then they, stuff beyond that wasn't as good. And I don't like the whole, we're going to give you our album free and you have to delete it if you don't want it, all that nonsense. But early U2, and I know it's fashionable to not like them, like it's fashionable not to like Coldplay and Muse and Nickelback. I don't understand it. I know that the Edge has got one way of playing the guitar. So what? He does it very, very well. I know Bono doesn't have the greatest voice in the world, but Mick Jagger. Basically, they do what they do, and for me, Where the Streets Have No Name is one of the great rock singles. It's one of those ones where when you hear that opening, the opening guitar, edge riff / arpeggio riff that he always does, you just go, I just love the way it builds. And for me, it's the standout track on the album, but then I still haven't found what I'm looking for. I love the words to that. I think it's a good piece of poetry as much as anything else. And I love With or Without You as well. But then In God's Country is a great song. That was the US single. One Tree Hill, which was in Australia and New Zealand, obviously, because that's where One Tree Hill is. So all in all, I just think it's pretty well faultless as an album. And it was a very easy choice.
Well, I don't need to add much more to that then, really. I wouldn't have said. I've written down, in inverted commas, breakthrough album. I know they'd had a lot of albums before that, but this seems to be the album that really made them.
Yeah. It was the
massive.
one that went. Yeah, absolutely.
It went global, didn't it? As Rolling Stone said, they moved from becoming heroes to superstars.
Yeah, absolutely right. And I think that you can look at their earlier albums like War, and they were good albums, and they had some good tracks on. If you listen to the U2 Greatest Hits album, which is one of the ones I've got, then there's a lot of the earlier stuff on it. But the stuff off the Joshua Tree is just, for me, it is their finest hour, along with Rattle and Hum. So good album.
You're saying about the bands that it's fashionable to dislike, and it could be like individuals that people don't like. I don't know, and Bono is probably one of those.
Yeah, people don't like Bono because he's political and because he's not afraid to call people out. Now, whether
people don't like him because he's arrogant,
but he's not. I disagree with that. And everybody says he's arrogant, but tell me why he's arrogant. He's just very much a believer in the things that are important to him, and he's not afraid to say it. I don't think that's arrogant. I think that's just out there.
I think his persona comes. Okay, I am one of those people who do not like U2. Now, I do not like U2 because it's trendy not to like U2. I don't like U2 because the sound that they produce, I don't enjoy. It's
which is fun.
it's too tinny, too hurty, too high. It doesn't do it for me. It's not subtle or mellow enough for my taste.
I would say that. I mean, I'm not suggesting this for you at all, Jeff, but
No, it's
I
fine.
would say anybody that says they don't like U2 is not going to say it's because it's fashionable to dislike them. I mean, that's not the way anyone would say, I'm sure. I know what you mean, though. I think it is Bono that is the thing. Back onto the album briefly though. I had a good thorough listen to this one yesterday because I hadn't heard it in its full glory for such a long time. With or without you, I still haven't found what I'm looking for. Which obviously you wouldn't do if he's still wearing sunglasses indoors, of course.
Right.
So the joke is where the streets have no name, and in God's country. I like the last track actually. It's called Mothers of the Disappeared.
Yes,
Gotta get that
Brothers
wrong.
disappeared.
It is Mothers Have Disappeared, which is
No,
was
great song.
written by it was written on Spanish guitar and was inspired, I'm reading, by Bono's experiences in Nicaragua and El Salvador in July '86 at the benefit concerts they did for Amnesty International. The melody was lifted from a bit of a song that he composed earlier in Ethiopia to help teach children basic forms of hygiene, apparently. It's a song that's implicit in its criticism of the Reagan administration, something I'm sure you'd appreciate, Pete, which back to South American regimes that seized power during the coup d'etat and which provided support for the military regime in El Salvador. And I just thought it's not one that I really leapt out at me before. Well, listen to this; it's really nice. It's like a
It's a good,
really
it's a really good
powerful,
song.
moving sort of tribute, if you like, to
But
close the album.
that whole thing, the whole Amnesty and El Salvador thing, that comes out in Bullet the Blue Sky as well, doesn't it? It's kind of
That's
he
fair.
thinks about that a lot. I
And
love it. I think they're great.
May I just jump in again?
yes, certainly.
I don't like U2.
I know.
That doesn't mean that I don't respect some of their songs and some of their music. And actually, I will quite happily listen to "When the Streets Have No Name," "Without You," whatever. That they are good songs, well produced, well. But that's fine. I can do one. I can do two. You know.
Mhm.
But the sound that they produce just doesn't do it for me. That doesn't mean I don't respect the fact that Joshua Tree is a great album. It must be, because if it wasn't, it wouldn't have sold what it sold, and it wouldn't hold the status that it holds. There's a lot of people who I don't like, but I respect. I don't like the Rolling Stones, but particularly for the same reason, actually, for many of the same reasons.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
it doesn't mean that you have to dislike them.
We can discuss U2 at length maybe when we have a show that Pete was suggesting a little while ago. Another track on it, "Running to Stand Still," which is I thought it sounded a little bit like a preview to the song "One" from Achtung Baby. It's that sort of style to it. Acoustic blues sort of influence to it. And it's actually about a heroin addiction epidemic in Dublin in the 1980s. Like Bad was actually from. Was that on? That was on the. Oh, what's the album? It wasn't on the one before, I don't think. The one with Sunday Bloody Sunday was on it.
That's right.
I can't remember the name of the album, but that anyway. In fact, Adam Clayton has called it Bad Part 2, that particular track. But Joshua Tree, for you. Now, it's a good job I got some spares, Lionel, because you've nicked two of my albums now, Pete. Which is fine. We like that.
I might, my last two might nick another two, who knows?
You probably will do. You might not have this one down, I'm not sure. This is a unique voice. A lot of these guys have got another. It's another guy called John. Now I played a song for Jeff the other day, John Prine, He
Yes.
has a different, completely different voice, but a unique voice. It's sort of a
Yeah.
jazzy Jeff, a jazzy sort of whispering tone to his voice, like Chet Baker, as I said to you, didn't I, on a text. This is another John who had a debut album in October '71, and this is a guy that is very nasally, and you think Dylan is a little bit of a dodgy voice. This guy seems to have no tone to his voice whatsoever, and all the songs appear to my ears seem to be in the same key. Even the percussionist Haywood Bishop said there was no evidence of groove whatsoever, and I was hungry for groove. This guy's John Prine.
I've got John Prine as one of my shout-outs.
Okay, well, I've beaten you to that one anyway.
No,
John
I
Prine.
wasn't going to say anything about it because I thought you might choose him, so that's why.
Yeah, all right. Well, the three heralded compositions probably there's Paradise, there's Hello in There, and Sam Stone, which is one of my favourites, which is a song about well, it's about drug addiction with vets when they come back, particularly heroin. Drug addicted vet who had a Purple Heart and his death by overdose. There's a hole in Daddy's arm where all the money goes. He sings reference to heroin or morphine addiction. Basically, they're the main two. There's no mention of the Vietnam War because he just says he's coming back from serving in a conflict overseas. But I think it's definitely going to be a Vietnam. Other song, they're just great songs, and a tribute to senior citizens with Hello in There. He always had an affinity apparently with old folk. A bit like Wayne Rooney in many ways, allegedly. Illegal Smile is another one. It's about smoking dope, but even as a child, he had this view of the world where he could find himself smiling at stuff nobody else was smiling at. And there's a Spanish Pipe Dream, which is like a hilarious Age of Aquarius type anthem, hippie type. Also another one about old people, Angel from Montgomery, and it ends with a really nice, I don't know, a country rock instrumental break on it as well, called Flashback Blues, not Flagship, Flashback Blues, which I love as well. Bouncy country rocker. It finishes, sort of lifts you up at the end. John Prine, and it wasn't a hit over here much. It was in America. It wasn't massive either. 154. He's one of the first famous celebrities, if you like, that I remember we lost during through COVID complications. I remember that in 2020, 2021, I think. So John Prine for me. Right, let's quickly get through these remainder.
Okay.
Remaining
1972, self-titled debut album. Crosby on backing vocals, Nash on backing vocals, Albert Lee on guitar.
Fun enough, as I was telling you before, Judy Sill had David Crosby on guitar on her debut album, Judy Sill, and also Graham Nash was there. It's still not Judy Sill.
This is male.
John. Is it another John?
It's not a John.
Is it James Taylor?
It is not James Taylor.
Oh, thought you got him there. James Taylor. How many albums had he had by this point then?
No, this is his debut.
Oh, you did say so. He hadn't had any. I think we can say
1972 debut. He was 23.
And it begins.
John Denver.
No.
He was so confident with that as well, wasn't he, Jeff?
I'm just thinking of every single J that I can think of.
I think this guy is massively underrated, even though he's very highly rated. I just think he is way better than people give him world recognition for.
Did he have hit singles, or is he an album person?
There's two hit singles on this album. He wrote his biggest hit single of it is probably written for someone else and recorded by them, but he recorded it as well.
No, what was the name?
Yeah, go on, tell us what it is.
Jackson Browne by Jackson Browne.
Oh, Jackson Browne. Yeah.
And it's got Doctor My Eyes on it,
Yeah.
but even better, it's got Jamaica Say You Will on it, which is just a brilliant song.
Indeed it is.
Song for Adam, Rock Me on the Water. The whole album is packed with good country rock songs, and of course he wrote Danny on the Accordion, Winslow, or whatever it's called, which the Eagles did, but that's not on this album.
I'll Take It Easy, you mean?
Take It Easy, yeah.
Yeah. I wrote that one, yeah.
Well, did he co-write it? He didn't really he wrote it.
Did he?
Really did
I think JD Souther might disagree with you on that one. Oh, okay. I think it was the two of them, wasn't it? I don't know.
No, Glenn Fry is
also credited
on it, but having been there and been to the shop and stood next to it, like they all say no, it's Jackson Browne's. Anyway, who cares? It's his first album. It's a bit rough and a bit ready and a bit naive in places, but Jamaica So You Will is just a stonking song.
Indeed it is.
There you go.
Okay.
Okay.
So I've got two left. So let's come in with this one. This is the 6th studio album from the band in question, 1976, but it is generally regarded to be their breakout album. And that is because it has 2 very big hit singles, plus 2 other very famous songs which are on all of their greatest hits albums.
Could it be Boys Are Back in Town, one of the singles you're talking about?
That would indeed be.
And maybe Jailbreak.
And Jailbreak.
It would be the title of the album.
And the album also has Cowboy Song on it, and it also has Emerald on it, which is one of my favourite Thin Lizzy tracks. And the Boys Are Back in Town was the NME 1976 best single, which says everything you need to know about the readers of NME. I read Melody Maker. That was like NME was the Sun, and Melody Maker was the Guardian. But anyway, so there's not much.
John Miles and music, perhaps.
Well, apparently so. Anyway,
if you remember when we did 76, there were so many ones that we couldn't. Just a stellar year.
But there's not much else to say about it, really.
It's a good album.
It's a good album of its sort, and it's the kind of the classic Lizzy lineup with Scott Gorham and all the rest of them. So,
breakthrough album, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. I mean, if your 6th album can be your breakthrough album, it was their breakthrough album. Anyway, I've got one more just to shout out at the end.
Swiftly on with another John with a unique voice, a unique singing voice. His 2nd album came out in 75 on Asylum. Probably like Jackson Browne was. Was he on Asylum Records? It sounds like he should have been.
John Cougar Mellencamp?
No. He was the main man, songwriter, guitarist, producer of a big-ish band in the 60s.
John Fogerty.
John Fogerty, yeah. And it's self-titled John Fogerty. The story of me getting rocking all over the world on that as the opening track on the album. Got a mate of mine to go and get it because I loved it so much. John Fogerty in 75 when he went over there and brought a single back for me with a little plastic little bit in the middle they put in American singles. You pop it out.
You could pop them outside the jukebox,
Yeah, which of course another band famously took on, rocking all over the world, and made it totally their own in 77, 2 years later. The B-side was called The Wall, which was another sort of a CCR style swamp rocker, I would call it. It was sort of a mix of covers and originals on it. You had a cover of Lonely Teardrops, which was first recorded by Jackie Wilson back in 58, which was a top 10 in the US. And now I've got written down here Rolling Stone 315 500 greatest. They can't be talking about the album John Fogerty. It must be talking about Lonely Teardrops by Jackie Wilson, maybe. Almost Saturday Night was another song of his that was covered by Dave Edmunds in 1988. The aforementioned Dave Edmunds, Get Better Soon, Sir. That was on his Twangin' album. What else? Sea Cruise, which was Huey Piano Smith song, real boogie woogie piano to that one. driving horn section on it as well, and a real simple country song, CCR style as well, called Dream Song. And I could go on, but I won't because we'll run out of time. So I have in John Fogerty, which got to number 78 in the US album chart, wasn't a hit over here at all. Do you
Right,
have
what's your
another
last one,
Joe?
Jeff?
My last, I've left this to last, Colin, because I was absolutely certain that you were going to pick this, but you haven't, so I've picked it instead. 1974, Just a Boy, Leo Sayer.
Ah, what an album! I should have had that one. I didn't have it on my
What
list.
an album! Second album, unless I'm wrong, it was written mainly for Roger Daltrey, and then he just did it himself as well, just to put his own mark on it. Is that right? I don't know. I think that's what was about right.
Hold on, we're talking Just a Boy, Roger Daltrey. You're talking there, Just a Boy.
Yeah.
Are we talking Just a
No,
Boy?
we're talking
I'm
Leo
talking about
Sayers.
Just a Boy, Leo Sayers in '74, because Daltrey had an album out. His debut album, solo debut album, was called Daltrey, and there were a lot of songs written by Leo Sayer.
That's
And
what I'm saying. Yeah, they were. So this was
David
his
Courtney.
version. This is Leo
Yeah.
Sayers' own version of the songs that he wrote for Roger Daltrey.
Yeah, there's a lot of them on there. So Giving It All Away, for example.
Giving
is
It
on
All
there.
Away, Long Tall Glasses, One
Superb.
Man Band. They're all on there. Produced by Georgie Fame, which I didn't realise.
We talked about him last week.
He was famous. He was famous last week. This week
he was
he's just
famous last week. Yeah.
So yeah, not much though, because I thought you would pick it, so I didn't do too much into it. But there we are. It's a good album.
I didn't do too much for my last one because I kind of know of it and I vaguely know some of the tracks. I don't own it, but I thought, well, this is, going for something a bit different. So this is an album which had 6 singles off it between July 1995 and November 1996.
Bit modern for you.
I was going to say, blimey, did you wake up this
96? That's in the Britpop era. If it's you and it's the 90s, it's got to be something more like the Fugees or something like that.
No, none
Journey.
of that. It's a very famous album. It's one of those ones where I thought, oh yeah, right, that's a good one to go with.
Did you
I'll
hear
have
me?
to have a look at my long list.
Did you hear me, Pete? Am I wrong on Journey?
Yeah, no, sorry, you are wrong on Journey. Yes, indeed. It is Jagged Little Pill, Alanis Morissette.
This is what I mentioned to you, Jeff, the other day, and I thought someone might mention it, but as a result of that, I didn't put it in. But Jagged Little Pill was a massive album.
It was a massive album, yeah. And as I don't know much about it, I remember. I mean, I know some of the songs. You Ought to Know, You Learn, Hand in My Pocket, Ironic, Head Over Feet, All I Really Want. I think Hand in My Pocket's probably my favourite out of that. But
when I mentioned what we were doing tonight to Jules, her first reaction was Jagged Little Pill.
Oh, well, there we go. About the shout out was Jane's Addiction by Jane's Addiction.
Good. Never heard of Jane or Her Addiction.
It's another one of those albums, Jagged Little Pill, taking us back to that I assumed was her debut, but it wasn't.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
It was a third album, amazingly. But it was a complete departure from the previous ones, which was more dancey, poppy.
Yeah.
This one was more, I don't know, almost post-grunge and it's just a bit more rocky, wasn't it, basically?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Right, okay. Well, I couldn't have a J album. Got to have this slot mentioned. Who could it possibly be? If it isn't the Fab Four,
it's the Quo.
It's the Quo, and they had an album out in 1980, which I definitely owned. For some reason, it's called Just Supposing, by the way, which had on it a couple of or 3 hit singles in the end, because What You're Proposing was a number 2 hit, stopped them getting to number 1 by Barbra Streisand and Woman in Love. Beautiful Babs. Forget
Not
her
one
name.
of her best either.
No. And also there was a double A side, Don't Drive My Car and Lies, which made number 11. Then at the end of 81, the final track on the album, which is a ballad called Rock and Roll, was released for some reason. That made number 8 as well. For some reason, the cover artwork, as I was about to say earlier, is a photo of the launch phase of a UGM-84 Harpoon submarine missile. I don't really understand why. I'm sure there's a reason for it. But the album's got
as good a thing to have on an album cover as any.
It's indeed typical sort of Alan Lancaster, the bass players, heavy rockers on there, Over the Edge, Close Side One, for example, and that was played live for this tour as well. The Wild One's another one of his. It's another one that starts. It's good sort of riff to it, and then it sort of bursts into this typical Quo riff in the middle of it. I love it when it does that. And yeah, Just Supposing Status Quo, number 4 it was in the UK. Right, we haven't left as much time for
K's,
K's, which is
which
probably
is
good because
sad.
I haven't got as
Well,
many K's.
I've got more K's.
Oh, I got fewer.
I've got
You,
5. I've got the same number.
all right, Pete, you better
1,
start if
2,
you got a
3.
few more quickly.
Okay. So one of the ones I've got, Jeff is gonna definitely will choose. I'm gonna so I'll start off with the one that I own, which is the first of a triumvirate of what would be this artist's best output of the 70s. It is my least favorite of them. I own it because I wanted the 3 albums, and it's Killer by Alice Cooper. So that was the forerunner to Schools Out, which was the forerunner to $1 Billion Babies, which is by a significant margin his best one. There's really only the one song that everybody knows on Killer, which is Under My Wheels, which I guess would be, one of the things that would always appear on Alice Cooper's greatest hits album. There's a delightful song called Halo of Flies. There's one, You Drive Me Nervous, which I think is a great title. There's the title track Killer, which is the last track on the album, and then there is a very dubious one called Dead Babies, which is not one of my favorite songs. But anyway, so I thought, well, I own it, so I better throw that in. So there we go. Quick and
Wasn't Be My Lover was on that album, wasn't it? Be My Lover.
Yes, it was.
That's a great track. I love that one.
It is a good track, but
that's the one where he says when they ask him why do you call yourself Alice or something, and you just don't understand or something like that. He says, I love that song.
It's okay. Right, it's not a bad album, but I'm $1 Billion Babies is my favourite by a significant margin.
But that began with a B.
It did, and I did it when we did the B's. When we did the B albums, I did it.
Have you got a K, Jeff?
I've got lots of Ks. Let's start in 1974. Produced by Muff Winwood.
Yeah, I know what this is.
I think this is maybe glam pop at its absolute best, and probably the best of the albums of glam pop, not glam rock. Glam pop. It is Kimono My House by Sparks, which I used to have on a not bootleg. I used to borrow the album, record it of someone else, and I played it so often that it's stretched, so I couldn't play it anymore. This Town Ain't Big Enough is on it. Amateur Hour, which is a great song, is on it. My favourite is Hasta Mañana Monsieur, which starts the second side. It's just got early use of synths on it is really clever. And Russ Mayall's falsetto is just a unique voice. Not everyone's going to like it, but I do.
It's one of the ones on my list as well. I just thought, Muff Winwood's a great producer. It was their commercial breakthrough. It was their commercial breakthrough because This Town Ain't Big Enough for Us was such a massive hit, and I think it was because it was quirky, and in the 70s people liked that kind of quirky thing, didn't they? The other song that I put down is Talent Is an Asset, which I also thought
superb song.
Great song as well. I remember that one.
It's a really good album. Did you have that on your list as well, Cole?
No, I didn't. I didn't have that one on there. I remember having it. I'm sure we had Kimono My House. Because the front sleeve had no mention of Sparks on it, did it? It was just
two Japanese ladies on it. Was it 3 that came from the Japanese dance troupe of wherever who were happening at the time when they recorded it, and they just said, "Well, come in, we're going to take a photograph."
But Ron Mayle was he was a talented songwriter, wasn't he? But he was a bit weird. If a bit weird with his little Hitler moustache.
Yeah, it's the Hitler thing. Yeah, it's Yeah, but they are both a bit weird. But that's what the glam pop was about, wasn't it?
Yes, absolutely.
It was true. Yep. But I remember having the album and being a little bit disappointed with it. I don't know. I was expecting a lot more of This Town Ain't Big Enough and Amateur Hour, although maybe Amateur Hour came out after I had the album. I don't know. But wasn't there one about Christmas on there as well?
Yeah, there is.
Thank
Yeah,
God it's not Christmas.
yeah. Thank God it's not. I love to. I love not to like Christmas or something. It's good. Yeah.
Yeah, something along those lines. Anyway,
Amateur
it has.
Hour was a July '74 single. This Town Ain't Big Enough for the Both of Us was April '74.
Okay, and when was the album?
Oh, 74. No.
Yeah,
Look.
early
I'll look that
'74, I
up.
think. Anyway,
It was May. Yeah, so
Oh,
it must have come
right.
out between the singles.
Yeah.
No, I didn't include that one. Right, what I did include as a K is this album, which I know that neither of you will have. It came out in January '81, and it featured the lead singer, actually, a young punk from the late '70s who's now currently got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
That'll
Billy
be
Idol.
His
Billy
name's
Idol,
Billy
yeah.
Idol. The band Generation X, although for this album, their third and final album, actually, they were just called Gen X. It was sort of a regeneration of the band, really, with some of the band members leaving. So it's the last album before they split. It didn't chart at all, so that probably didn't help, and probably its commercial failure led to the split in the fame. It's a shame because I think it's Billy Idol and Tony James both writing the songs, and they developed a much more complex style in their partnership of songwriting, which and it sort of transferred from transferred maybe translated transferred probably from like the punk scene, London punk scene of the late '70s into a much more uh, nuanced sound. Um, Maybe, well, at the initiation, maybe of what is then was called British New Wave in the early '80s, I would say. I mean, the opening track, "Dancing with Myself," is the top track, which was a hit, minor hit for them. It for some reason came out again a little bit later as Billy Idol, even though it's exactly the same song. Very strange. And it was inspired, "Dancing with Myself." I thought I knew what the song was about, which we won't go into now on the podcast, but it was actually inspired by a 1979 visit by Billy Idol and Tony James in Tokyo, a nightclub where they were on tour in Japan, the original Generation X, and they encountered a strange sight of young Japanese nightclubbers disco dancing with their own reflections in a mirror-walled venue rather than with one another. So that's how the song, and on that track, you've got additional guitars from the inimitable Steve Jones from the Sex Pistols on there. You've got a Danny Custo on there as well. You know him too. Danny Custo from
from TRB.
Tom Robinson Band, he's on there too. And Steve New as well. And most of it was by John McGeoch. He was on the guitar, who was, I think, one of the innovative guitars of the time. He was in Magazine and then in Susie and the Banshees for a good few years too. But that's Dancing with Himself. Untouchables is another. And this album, I said on air, I played the track. No, sorry, the album. I didn't say what the album's called. It's called "Kiss Me Deadly." It was named after, ironically, a track from the earlier version of Generation X on their debut album, which I did play on the radio this morning, "Kiss Me Deadly," and I think it showed that they've changed the second album they had out was a bit of an artistic misstep, really, and they went back on this album to doing songs about stuff that they know about themselves or stuff they know about rather than getting a bit involved with other stuff as well, and production, all that sort of malarkey. What else can I say? No, there's so many songs I could mention, but it's called "Kiss Me Deadly." It's Gen X, and maybe I'll play one tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see. Gen X from 1981. That's my first one, and we've probably got about half an hour left, so we can quickly go through these other ones. Jeff, Pete, you're next. Isn't it?
Okay. My next one is one that appears in pretty well every list ever written of albums you have to listen to before you die. It's one of those albums which is it's significant in the history of music.
Was it released in 1959?
No.
Oh, okay.
But the one that was released in 1959, I also have on my list at length, and I know you've chosen it, so I will leave that till last, or I'll talk about it when you do. No, it was released exactly 10 years later in 1969. Debut album by the band, and interestingly, for a debut album, it was recorded live at the Grand Ballroom in Detroit between on October the 30th and the 31st, 1968, and then it was released in early 1969. It is number 294 in the 500 greatest albums of all time in both 2003 and 2012 versions of the Rolling Stone list. By 2020, whatever, it had dropped into the 300s. And it is widely regarded as being 10 years before the forerunner of punk.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it self-titled?
No.
Not Kiss then?
No.
Yeah.
It is Kick Out the Jams by MC5.
Oh, MC5, yeah.
Yeah. A couple of singles, Kick Out the Jams, which the flip side was Motor City is Burning, which is my favourite track. Then Ramblin' Rose, and the flip side is Borderline. Couple of other, I mean, it's a good, interesting album. I Want You Right Now is a good song. It kind of, that almost reminds me of the Tubes. And then, of course, it wouldn't be me if I wasn't a major fan of the last track on the album, which is Starship, which is 8 minutes and 15 seconds, which for me is the kind of punk I want to be listening to. But it was Rob Tyner, Wayne Kramer, Michael Davis, Dennis Thompson, Fred Smith. Nothing else they did came close to Kick Out the Jams, but Kick Out the Jams is one of those albums you have to own. I don't, but I will.
Kick Out the Jams itself, that was live, wasn't it? I don't
Yes,
know whether it was...
yes, the whole album was recorded.
The whole album's live, yeah,
yes,
okay.
The whole album was recorded live at the Grand Ballroom.
Oh, yeah, you did say that. Yeah.
It's unusual because it's a debut album and it's a live debut album, which I think was quite a brave thing in 1969. When you think what else was around in 1969 to launch a new band with a live album like that, and especially something which was not, it definitely wasn't in the mainstream. So I think it was brave at a number of different levels. But it's as a period piece and as a forerunner to, you know, the Ramones and everything else, I think it's I think it's a really good album.
I as a big punk fan, obviously, I don't know. I was never really too much into MC5. I mean, I like Kick Out the Jams. I love. I don't know much about the albums as a whole, but them and the Stooges, I don't know. They just seemed a little bit shouty for me. All of them seemed a little bit more shouty than I'd much rather listen to Ramones. Even the New York Dolls actually came out after this, obviously. But yeah, Kick Out the Jams, MC5. That was an unexpected turn from Stinky Pete there.
It was.
Oh, yeah.
Have you got an unexpected turn, Jeff?
Should we deal with this one that we've both got then, Pete? Well, is that the best one?
Let's go.
Can I guess this one before either of you said it?
Go on then.
Yeah, go on.
Is it Kind of Blue?
It is.
It is Kind of Blue.
It is Kind of Blue. So 1959, Miles Davis. I am not a massive Miles Davis fan. I think
I am.
Okay. I think most of his stuff, most of Coltrane stuff as well, is too out there to be interesting for the majority of people. I don't like his laser electric stuff at all, really. But this album is genius from the beginning to the end. Some people cite it as the best jazz album ever. I don't think that's true. I think that's Mingus are Mingus. but other opinions are welcome. Wrong, but welcome. There's some great songs on it. Freddie Freeloader is the standout song on the album.
Yeah.
And just in case anyone cares about the musicality of it, it's the first album to deal with what's called modal jazz, which is basically chucks the rule book out of working through chord changes and works through the keys rather than the chords, and that's well complicated, and we can go into it if you want to, but we don't need to.
Of the classic Miles Davis albums that everybody owns, it's the one I don't own. I will get it. But I think that any album which has got Miles Davis, John Coltrane, and Cannonball Adderley on, you know what you're getting, which is real virtuoso sax and trumpet.
But you're not.
Well, I disagree.
Well, you can disagree all you like, and that's fine. You're allowed to. What you're getting is really sweet melody.
Yes, you are. But I'm not saying it's out there. I'm saying it's virtuoso. It's virtuoso playing. It is. John Coltrane and Miles Davis and Cannonball Adderley are virtuoso players, as is Bill Evans on piano and Paul Chambers on bass and Jimmy Cobb on drums. The band is just a great band.
Yeah.
But I think, you're right. It's recorded by many. It's regarded by many people as his masterpiece. I disagree. I think Bitches Brewies. It's referred to as the greatest jazz album ever recorded. I take your point that Mingus on Mingus would be up there. It's recalled one of the most influential albums ever made.
Yeah.
In 2003, Rolling Stone had it on the 12th greatest album of all time.
I wouldn't disagree with that.
No, well, and interestingly, in 2022, it was one of 50 recordings that were selected by the Library of Congress for the inaugural year of the National Recording Registry, because it is regarded as culturally, historically, and aesthetically significant.
There we go.
And in 2019, it went quintuple platinum, which is yes. I mean, that is a lot. That is a lot of that's a lot of records.
That's a million
records. What is a jazz album? I'll be certain there isn't another jazz album that's sold anywhere near that many. So it really is. It's a unique piece of work.
I needn't say anything about that one. You covered it.
We have.
As you well know, I'm not a huge fan of jazz music, especially the non-traditional style, which
difficult jazz. We've had
difficult
this
jazz,
but it's not difficult jazz.
No, I'm not saying
it's so good.
Yeah, I know.
It's almost cool jazz. It's almost like nighttime jazz. It's modal jazz. It isn't difficult.
No,
when I have 45 minutes spare, I should lie down and listen to this.
Colin's not a fan of difficult jazz, which was what he was saying. This isn't difficult jazz. And by the way, neither is Miles Plays Music for Lovers, which is the other one that you need to own. That's a beautiful album as well.
Okay, A Kind of Blue and Miles Davis, which both of you have. Right, I'm going to change tack from the King of Jazz, arguably, to it's going to do it to the King of Rock and Roll.
Hey! Oh, we're going Elvis.
It's Elvis, and it's King Creole.
Yeah,
King Creole from 1958. His second soundtrack album, his best film, hands.
Nearly picked this.
There's so many songs written and recorded for the film. I mean, King Creole itself, Hard-Headed Woman, and some slower stuff as well, like As Long as I Have You, the infamous Trouble. You're looking for trouble. A real New Orleans jazzy kind of feel to it. Dixieland Rock, similarly, a sort of jazzy rock and roll number, as you can imagine. Lover Doll. That's an acoustic number for you. One I'm not so keen on is Crawfish, but that's like a chant-like um, song with who's it singing with him? Kitty White. Like in this film, at least, Danny Fisher is his character. His favourite film character, by the way. It should be yours too. In Bourbon Street in New Orleans, sort of standing, looking out, singing Crawfish. And there's some bluesy songs on there, and it's a real closer out a track, a jazzy New Orleans club sort of song called New Orleans as well. Number one in the UK, only number two in the US, strangely, but King Creole, that's for me.
Definitely.
Can I just point out here that it's Bourbon Street,
Not
and
Bourbon.
it's New Orleans.
It depends where you want to be from, really, I suppose. Yeah.
It's not New Orleans though. It's New Orleans.
New
Anyway,
Orleans.
I just thought I'd share that
I
with
bet
you.
you not everyone in the States calls it that, though.
It's the first place I ever went in America, so it's the.
It's
Anyway.
a nice place, an interesting
It's
place.
great. I loved it.
On
Absolutely
the old
loved it.
paddle steamer on the Mississippi.
Yeah. And you know where the paddle steamer was made?
Liverpool.
Glasgow.
I was close.
Yeah, you were close. Yeah,
Wrong
it was
country.
Wrong
Never
country.
mind. Right, King Creole for me. Jeff? No, Pete.
Right, okay. 1978 album. 10th album by the gentleman and his band. Songs on it were recorded alongside at exactly the same time as his previous album, which is by a country mile his most famous. And the album is Kaya by Bob Marley and the Wailers. And it had the singles Is This Love and Satisfy My Soul on it. I also like Sun is Shining, Crisis, Running Away I particularly like. It was a top 5 hit in the UK. Obviously, I'm sure Exodus went to number 1. So not as big, but it kind of got swept along on the back of Exodus being as mega as it was. It was released to coincide with the One Love peace concert, which was the one that he played in Kingston when he returned to Jamaica after his kind of London exile. So it was a homecoming album. I mean, I love Bob Marley, but I would make this probably my second or third favorite album after Exodus. Not much else to say really. If you like Bob Marley and the Wailers, go out and buy Kaya.
It's a shame we can't include Legend as an album, actually, Bob Marley, because that's the greatest hits, but it's such a good album, isn't it? Everyone loves Legend.
Yeah, everybody loves Legend.
They do.
Okay, we've had a lot of variety today. We like that. Jeff,
well, let's stay with that. I'm pushing my luck here. I really am. It begins with T, but that's by the by.
No, we're not having that yet.
This isn't a greatest hits album, except the fact that
it is.
All of the albums of this nature are compilation albums from the past. Okay, because
the K-Tel compilation album.
But you can't not do this sort of music without just picking bits from other. A lot of them are non-released on other albums, so they're just. So, this was released in 1981. Okay, I'm going to give you a guy's name, and you're going to tell me who it is. Ferdinand Joseph Lamonte, 1885 to 1941. Ferdinand Joseph Lamonte probably. 1885 to 1941.
From 1978.
No, this album was 1981, but I mean that's
oh, right.
He died in 41, which is what I'm saying. It's
right, it's one of those. Okay.
It's a posthumous collection of stuff previously recorded.
Well, previously recorded, not always previously released. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. It's like the sort of Robert Johnson's album.
And all of these style of things, whatever you buy, will be of that nature, because that's the nature of that beast, of that style.
It's got to be from that
the
era.
album is called The King of New Orleans Jazz, which is why I'm bringing it up now, because obviously what you just said, or New Orleans or whatever you call it.
New Orleans. Yeah.
New Orleans, the King of New Orleans Jazz.
Who was the king of New Orleans jam? Louis Armstrong?
No, but he does play on one of the songs. Musically, imagine, if you will, the film scenes that you've seen in every film of the wake, not the wake, the funeral, people coming down, all
Like in Never
solemn
Let
and sad, and then one goes, sticks his up in the air, and they all go berserk and start playing.
So like the scene at the beginning of the James Bond Live and
Yes,
Let Die.
exactly like that.
Right,
the whole album, although some of it is Chicago jazz, some of it is even Kansas jazz, New York jazz, it is all of the New Orleans concept style, and this guy is the king with his band. The band are called the Red Hot Peppers.
Nah, don't. I've got no idea.
No, I can't think of it.
Okay.
Probably
Jelly Roll Morton.
Oh, Jelly Roll Morton. Right. Okay.
Jelly Roll Morton and the Red Hot Peppers. And it's all early recordings of New Orleans style jazz, and it's just fantastic.
I think I'd like this.
Huh?
I think I'd like this, actually.
Yes, you would like it. Dead Man Blues, I think, is the standout. But I mean, it's that there's. I'll pick Dead Man Blues for tomorrow, and you can give it a go. But it's just all of those style of albums are in effect compilation albums. Like they have to be. But there we are.
These old blues singers, they all had sort of names like Jelly Roll, I suppose, or Slim, or Fat, or something, didn't they?
Yeah,
got to be done.
Yeah, there's part of that was because that's what they were.
They were okay.
I don't know how big he was, but whether he said
I
it doesn't matter what I play, it's all just Jelly Roll. That was his words.
Okay. All right, I'm changing the tone again. Let's quickly get through these last few. I've gone for this one. It's not an album that I'm a massive fan of, but I was struggling for K1s, and I do love like half the album, at least. And ironically, they're all big hit singles. The rest, the singles, the album's called Kick. You might know it. Kick by from Australia. From Australia. Lead singer's dead.
Akadaka.
Not Akadaka.
Oh, In Excess.
In Excess, yeah, my questions. From October 8 to 87. It was their sixth album. The first five really hardly dented the charts. This one went mad. Kick with it got to number 9 in the UK, number 3 in the US. Need You Tonight, New Sensation, The Devil Inside, Never Tear Us Apart, great song. Mystify. There's some great songs on the album, and I mean, Hutchins has said they wanted to have an album. I said this before about one of the other albums. I forget which one it was, but they wanted to have a big hit album where they could all be singles. And he's probably right. They did, although they probably all have been hits because they weren't all brilliant. But overall, actually, despite the fact that I'm including it in this, it's probably their best album, although Welcome to Wherever You Are, I think it was their only number 1 album in the UK. I think In Excess might be slightly overrated, to be honest.
I don't know any of it. I don't know any of their stuff at all. So
I would agree with you.
Passed me by.
But I might be less charitable and say they're not slightly overrated.
They're very overrated.
Majorly overrated.
Yeah, but I like all these singles. This is the thing.
But they did that. They produced some good singles. Lots of bands do.
A lot of bands do.
It's all the rest of it that they.
I mean, another example of that might be 10cc for me personally. I think that's some absolutely stellar singles, but the album's a bit too serious for me, a bit too overblown. Right, Jeff? No, I keep doing this, don't I?
It's okay.
Pete, go on. You've got a load, have you? How many more you got?
Oh, this is my last one.
Okay, go on.
I've got 2 more.
I've got a couple of shout outs. One of which I thought you were going to choose, Colin, but anyway. This is an exemplarily well-crafted and uncommonly intelligent album of schlock. Rolling Stone.
Okay.
Anonymous, absolutely impeccable swing pop. Cameron Crowe. Fourth album by the band in question. The first one without their lead guitarist, who was on the first three albums, and the first one with the glorious Michael McDonald on backing vocals.
Doobie Brothers, then?
Yeah.
It's not.
Not the
backing vocals, not lead vocals.
I thought he did. I thought he started on backing vocals. Oh, I know. It's Casey Lyde.
Katie Lyde, Steely Dan.
yeah, okay.
Which it's interesting because you reread what the critics said about it. You know, they basically said that it's perfectly crafted, brilliantly produced, and quite boring. And if I'm honest, it's probably my least favourite Steely Dan album, although Gaucho would run it a close second. But it does have 4 great songs on it, 2 singles, Black Friday, from May 75 and Bad Sneakers from September. Doctor Wu, which is my favourite track on the album, and then also Any World That I'm Welcome To, which is another great song.
Doctor Wu. I think I prefer George Formby's version of that one. It sounds like it should have been a George Formby. Doctor Wu.
Bad Sneakers has got a great line in it. If I won't get this right. So it's something to do with like there's a winner, there's medals for the winners, but nothing but no one ever whatever's when you lose. I can't remember. It's a really good little line, and I've forgotten it.
He's a really good lyricist. You know, I think that we all think about Steely Dan and we think how brilliantly produced it is. Their anal attention to detail with the music and the kind of the words pass you by, but actually some of their words are brilliant, you know, especially like some of the stuff on the Royal Scam, like, you know, Haitian Divorce and the Caves of Altamira and the Don't Take Me Alive. I mean, there's some great, they are really, really good lyricists as well as musicians. But when
Scotch whiskey all night long and die behind the wheel.
Yeah, Deacon Blue. But yeah, you know, if there's an opportunity to talk Steely Dan, I will talk Steely Dan. So,
well, while we're here, then, Colin, shall I carry on with my next one?
Go on.
Which is 1993. It's not Steely Dan, but it might as well be, because it's Camille Cariad, which is Donald Fagen's second album.
Is it his second or is it his third?
No, it's his second.
So that was before Morph the Cat.
Yes. So right. Nightfly, Camille Cariad,
and then
Morph the Cat.
Right.
It's not as good as either of them. Either bit ones either side, but it's still a good album. But although it's Donald Fagen, Walter Becker plays guitar, Walter Becker plays bass, Walter Becker produces it, and it has very much more of a late Steely Dan style of stuff to it. It went gold in the UK, gold in the US. Florida Room is good enough to be on Morph the Cat. On the Dunes, he's good enough to be on Morph the Cat. None of them are good enough to be on the Nightfly. But then nothing else in the world is. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's one of my 2 final Ks.
And you got one more, Pete?
No, I've just got. I've got 4 shout outs. I'm just gonna throw one in now because I think you might have to, because then you can talk about it. But so far you haven't chosen the Kinks Are the Village Green Society, and I've thought that might be one of yours.
It's not. For some reason, I had that down as a V album. I suppose it is the Kinks Are the Village. Yeah, I didn't have it. Although, ironically, there were 2 Kinks albums, and I've chosen one of them. It isn't that one.
Okay, well, forget that one then. What's yours?
Mine, well, they had 2, the first 2 albums. The first one was self-titled, Kinks. Second one was Kinda Kinks. Now, Kinda Kinks was, I know, original. Not as good actually overall. There are more original songs on it, ironically, from Ray Davies. The first album has not so many of Ray Davies songs. In fact, 5 out of the 14 were his songs. You Really Got Me, which obviously is a classic, and there, but Stop Your Sobbing, which is another classic. But you had 3 other lesser songs. They're all a bit maybe Mersey beat-ish, though. So mystifying. Just Can't Go to Sleep, and I Took My Baby Home. Got a couple of Chuck Berry covers. You can't go wrong with them. Beautiful Delilah, which opens the album, and Too Much Monkey Business, which someone I read described as the first punk rock cover, which is a bit strange. As I don't know, as R&B artists, they weren't really up to the same level as, say, the Stones or the Yardbirds, but they did some. I actually like the first. Again, today I listened to this album because, well, I listen to Kind of Kinks as well, and this is the one I'm leaning towards. But Village Green Society, or the Kinks are the Village Green Society, I probably would include. And maybe I'll include it on a V, but I don't know whether I will. It's a bit late now. But I've gone for the Kinks anyway. They're October '64, and yeah, it was their debut album. And what else have I got quickly? I'll tell you what I've got. I've got one that you really would hate me mentioning, but I'll give that a little mention at the end. I've gone for a Roy Orbison album, which was posthumously released. He recorded a bunch of extra songs when he did his last album, Mystery Girl, in '88. He died in the end of '88, I think it was. But a number of songs that were recorded as demos for that have been put together by Jeff Lynne on the album called King of Hearts, which came out in October '92. I Drove All Night was a UK hit, which Cyndi Lauper covered as well. In fact, although Roy Orbison recorded his first, his didn't get released until after Cyndi Lauper's version.
This is much
There
better.
was his, I think so. Crying with K.D. Lang is on there as well. That was a hit, number 2 hit in the States,
Good song.
25 hit here, and a real a great rock and roll tune called Heartbreak Radio, which I've played a number of times on the show. Actually, it's a Frankie Miller song. And yeah, there's a bit of sax by Clarence Clements on We'll Take the Night. Coming Home, which he co-wrote with J.D. Souther, we mentioned earlier on, who may or may not have
written Take
It Easy with Jackson Brown.
He was definitely in the Southern Hillman Fury band, though. So you know.
Well, there you have it. And Careless Heart, an original demo of that too, King of Hearts. Now, I was going to mention this one. I'm going to just briefly mention it because, I haven't got any others to mention really to speak of. I've got a number down, but there's no point. I do actually have
one
this
more
album.
when you've got a mo.
Go on, it's Queen.
Killer Queen.
Not Killer Queen. No, it's a Kind of Magic.
Ah, okay.
And it isn't a bad album. It came out in June '86. It was their 12th album. It was actually based on the soundtrack to the film Highlander. Marillion turned down the opportunity rather, to do the soundtrack. Fish turned down an acting role in it. He couldn't make it, apparently, in the film. Also, Bowie, Sting, Duran Duran were all approached and considered rather than approached, I would guess, to do the soundtrack. In the end, they turned to Queen, and several of the songs in the film are on the album.
Hammer to Fall is brilliant. It's a
Kind of Magic. Hammer to Fall, yeah, but that isn't on the album.
Oh, isn't it? It was in the film.
No, that was on the works. Yeah, that was on the works. The singles from this, well, A Kind of Magic, and of course, One Vision. It's a great rock song to open the album, I think. Anyway, it's a band-written song. A Kind of Magic, Princess of the Universe, which is featured in the film, and a Brian May song, sort of the love theme of the film, which is Who Wants to Live Forever. And I think I played that on the radio a couple of weeks back, and Stink said, "This is exactly why I don't like Queen."
Yeah, well, that Princess of the Universe thing is even worse. That's really bloody awful.
Okay, fair enough.
It's hot. It's just even you talking about the songs just brings me out.
It just puts you off. All right. Well, it was a number 1 album in the UK, so as Jeff said earlier on, it must be good.
It must be good.
Only the US, number 46 it made in the US. Jeff, you got one more?
I just quickly chuck this one. 1973, Killing Me Softly with His Love, Roberta Flack. It's just
with his song, Love.
Killing Me Softly with his song, sorry.
Yeah,
Fourth studio album. It's got Jessie on it, which is by Janice Ian, you were talking about earlier, Pete, which is beautiful.
Yeah, it's a beautiful
Janice Ian can do no wrong, and Roberta Flack's just got a standing. It's got Suzanne by Leonard Cohen on it. It's got Killing Me Softly, obviously, on it. But far more important in all of that, it's got Eric Gale on guitar. It's got Ralph McDonald on percussion. It's got Ron Carter on bass. It's got Grady Tate on drums. It's got like the best of the jazz fusion guys all together on the album, like with Roberta Flack's silk-ridden voice above it.
Yeah,
So,
she's got a gorgeous voice.
It can do no wrong. That the album can't be bad. Like it's just there's nothing about it that could be bad.
Right up your Strasse.
Absolutely up my Strasse.
Well, I'll just throw. There's a couple of self-titled ones and one other. So the first Kansas album, Kansas.
Yeah.
The first Killing Joke album, Killing Joke, who I really like. And then Killers by Iron Maiden, which is obviously as subtle as being smacked in the face with a rock. But that's what you get with Iron Maiden.
True. And it's Bruce Dickinson's birthday tomorrow.
Happy birthday, Bruce.
Happy birthday, Bruce.
Indeed, yeah.
Well,
that's it. We've made it through J's and K's. Yeah, under the wire, maybe, just about. An interesting selection. A number of different styles of music, which we like. We also get that on CBW Radio, of course. Any genre,
where you may be tomorrow morning.
I will be tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. in the UK, 3 a.m. if you're up in the States. And we'll be playing, no doubt, some of these songs, which these guys are going to be sending me a copy of the ones they want to hear for tomorrow or Friday's show. Look forward to that. Thanks very much, guys, for the input on the J's and K's. And this podcast will be posted to the usual places, to Spotify, to Google Podcasts, to Jeff's favourite one, Apple Podcasts. Other podcasts are available, but not as good as they say. And one day maybe, but probably not. Judging by our Benny Hill start to the show today, we won't be on the
BBC.
The BBC, thankfully. But it's been fun. We'll be back next week, no doubt, streaming live to Facebook and Twitter, or X, as everyone prefers to call it anyway, the other way around, and the YouTube as well. So all I've got left to say now is it's a good night from me.